Hello, all my merrymakers. I am Becca, and welcome to Bookmark Monday. To all of you who have been regularly checking into this series, I very much appreciate it. To anybody new here, welcome. Bookmark Monday is it's become basically my weekly Monday video where I choose a pattern source. Da-da-da-da-da. And we go through it, and I can't show you the patterns. That's copyright infringement. But I can show you the pictures. I can tell you what level it is, and I usually tell you whether or not I see myself making it. If there's a particular pattern that I like, I take out my little stickers and I put a bookmark on there. Now, sorry, had a little something in my throat. So we finally finished the Afghan book. So we're going to be looking at this one. We spent so long on a crochet book, I figured it was time for a knitting book, number one. Number two, this was a birthday present to me from my good friend, Patricia from Yarn & Cat Crochet. She didn't have to send it to me. She wanted to send it to me. And she is a lovely person, and right now she is taking a summer sabbatical where she's only updating when she feels like she has the material to, which I totally respect. Because sometimes it's like, what am I going to talk about this week? So I have never looked at this before, but I already see some things that definitely interest me. So I think this is a pair of gloves, which could be either fun or really tedious to make if that's sterile. I also see what could be a sweater. I see a hat. Now this I think is either a sweater or a blanket. I can't tell. I think this is called a pufflin. So an amigurumi of a pufflin and an amigurumi of either Grogu or Yoda, depending on which part of the series is your favorite. So let's take a look. I'm going to start with the table of contents, because much like the other book, this is broken up into different sections. And I think if we tried to do the whole thing all at once, number one, I'd have the longest video in the history of all kind. Number two, you would be overloaded, and so would I. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, but the middle part is the longest. The others have 3 or 4 patterns, and then inspired apparel looks like it's got maybe 10. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break up inspired apparel into, let's see how many we do have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 in inspired apparel. And like I said, 4 in each one of those, except for home decor, which has 3. So 16 is divisible, really? Divisible by 4. So I'd say let's break that up into 4. Now, with each section being 4, I'm only gonna see it about probably picking one pattern from each. Now, if I don't see one that I particularly feel myself drawn to, I'm not going to put a sticker in that section. So, that being said, I will say that when it comes to Star Wars, I like the original trilogy. I like The Mandalorian. I like Rogue One. The prequels are not a big fan, and I think I got bored halfway through the sequels. So, original trilogy. Now, I've heard Solo is great, and I have high hopes for the new Star Wars movie coming out for Mandalorian and Grogu. I am just also concerned that they're just going to take everything that they did in the series and do some creative editing, and poof, you have a movie. So, we'll see. All right, enough about that. All right, let's get started. All right, so, toys. All right. So the first thing we have is a Porg, which is the little guy from the front. Now, I don't remember which movie he's from. He is kind of got a frowny face. But at its heart, it's a ball with wings. So, if I needed to make a ball, I might follow this pattern for the ball part of it. But, let's see. It is designed by Susan Claudino, and the level it gives is 2 lightsabers. And then its finished measurements are 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. It's a sphere. And it calls for worsted weight yarn and uses a, I almost said crochet hook. It recommends 3.75 millimeters or US 5s, which makes total sense because if I were crocheting this, that's the size hook I would use. I will admit, when it comes to amigurumi, I prefer crochet, but that's just me. So here is a picture from the movie, which is nice, so you can kind of see reference. So again, not my favorite. And then now we've got Pocket Yoda. I do like this shirt that this person is wearing. Reminds me of the Imperial uniforms, which is, I guess, what they're going for. Now, are those all? Is this whole thing by? Well, it says Tennis Gray, so I don't know. But this is also by Susan Claudino. His height is 4.5 inches, so he's not that big. I mean, I did crochet a Grogu for a friend. It doesn't look that much different except for the fact that it's knitted, and the one that I made was a little bit bigger, and I definitely like the way it looked. He's cute. Let's see, it calls for worsted weight yarn again, and a US 5 or 3.75 millimeter meters. So, maybe I was making a bunch of miniatures, like if they had more than just a Pocket Yoda, but like a Pocket Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie, then I might make like, I used to have a book that like had all the Star Wars characters in that cute little size, Chibi, CHIBI. But here's another picture of him out of the pocket. So again, he's a bit tiny. The biggest part of him is his head. There is some nice detail. I'm wondering how that detail is accomplished. I have issues. Now, I know this is how he looks on the front, and it should have prepared me. But this is Chewy. My still favorite version of Chewy, somebody made by doing long crochet loops and like cutting them, not this brushed out style. I get it. But again, the color is wrong. It looks cheap. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, I thought I heard crying. All right, the finish height here is 11 inches. So he's a little bit bigger. That's good. And depending on which part of the make, it calls for 3 different sizes: sport, DK, and worsted. Now, and then to use US size 3 or 3.25 millimeters. Again, if I were to make it, I don't think I would use their suggestions. The difference in these colors, Chewy is all one color, basically. And the color that's closest is this. And maybe it's the yarn that does that. I don't know. That's definitely not the yarn I would choose. Look at that. Okay? Look at that. Now, I understand, okay, yes, it's darker here and browner here, but that's, again, the yarn they use just... Are we still rolling? Okay, good. I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. Maybe I'm being too picky. Okay, I think I found the one thing from this section that I'm going to be making. That's no moon. Isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. I love how they achieve some details with just some minor stitch work, it looks like. There's definitely the circle for, that's, that. Okay, I think one of my children is upset, but I think my husband is taking care of it. I do apologize. All right, so, let's see. Let's get my stickers. There is 2 colors here, or two yarns here listed. The finished diameter is 14 inches. Wow. That is not a small ball. That is, again, that's no, that's a space station. The yarn suggested here is the fingering weight. Oh, see, again, here's where we come into a problem. The yarn they're suggesting is from Miss Babs. Now, love Miss Babs yarn. The only problem is sometimes she discontinues colors. So finding exactly what they're listing is not gonna be a great thing. But it's Miss Mab's. So the first one is Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply, which is one of her more regular bases. And the color is Ammo. And then the other one is her Estrelita, which it's her fingering that has the shiny in it, the Lurex, in the same colorway. So the right gray, I bet you, just let me peek. Yeah, with one strand of each color. So basically what it is they want to add a little bit of shimmer to it without adding too much shimmer to it. So if it were me and I was going to buy the yarn, I'm not gonna lie, I might go onto Mrs. Babs' website and see what she has in her DK that's close. Because again, I'd rather have just one yarn, especially when I'm knitting. And who doesn't want a little extra shimmer? I mean, come on. So that's it for that section, I think. Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if this is AI, but that is a big ball compared to those little girls. I do love how they're wearing Star Wars appropriate apparel. And again, there's that quote that I just said. That's no moon. It's a space station. Of course, if I do that, I might have to crochet. Find designs for like TIE fighters and the Millennium Falcon. Not to mention, 3PO and R2D2. Yes. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd, in case you didn't know. I like Star Trek too. I'm one of those people that like both. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. If you did, make sure you give it a like. Especially if you're a subscriber. That way the evil YouTube overlords don't unsubscribe you from my channel against your will. Feel free to comment down below. It helps my analytics. Plus, I really like hearing from you guys. If you're not a subscriber yet, I have a lot of yarning content. And if that's your job, make sure you hit subscribe. Plus, you would do well to hit that notification bell. If you really like my channel and would like to help it grow, share this video with everyone you know. In the meantime, make what makes you merry. Ciao.